Hello hitchhikers, you're listening to ahk42.com, a hitchhiker's guide to 42. I'm your host, Leah Harrison, and welcome to the show. On today's show, it's quite serious actually. We'll be talking about the Fukushima disaster and what is actually happening right now. We are joined today by Herb, who is the owner of Fukushima 311 Facebook page. I suggest you check it out. There's lots of detailed information about the Fukushima disaster. If you're not already aware of what the Fukushima disaster was, it was following a major earthquake. A 15-meter tsunami disabled the power supply and cooling of 3 Fukushima Daiichi reactors, causing a nuclear accident on the 11th of March 2011. All 3 cores largely melted in the first 3 days. The accident was rated 7 on the INES scale due to high radioactive releases over days 4 to 6. Eventually, a total of some 940 PBQ. 4 reactors were written off due to damage in the accident. After 2 weeks, the 3 reactors, units 1 to 3, were stable with water addition, and by July they were being cooled with recycled water from the new treatment plant. Official cold shutdown condition was announced in mid-December. Apart from cooling, the basic ongoing task was to prevent the release of the radioactive materials, particularly in contaminated water that was leaking from the 3 units. So stay tuned, folks. After the break, we welcome Fukushima 311 Herb. Okay then, we've now got Hervé with us, and he is the administrator of Fukushima 311 Watchdogs on Facebook, and also you've got a web page, haven't you, Hervé? Welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you for having me.
No problem. We really need to know somebody who knows about what's going on. You are absolutely educated. It seems that you seem to pick out the reality of what's going on, whereas the media seems to be really, we shouldn't really be looking at what official media are saying about it, because it seems to be that people all of a sudden become scientists and experts at what's going on, when really they have no background to do so. What do you think?
Well, what you find on the media is either people who are manipulated by the pro-nuke industry and who are minimizing the facts, or you find the sensationalism crowd which exaggerate things and which publish also nonsense. So the truth is neither one, you know.
Yeah.
You have a situation which is serious, and you have to describe the facts as they are.
Exactly. We need to know, Hervé, and if you could do it in your best possible way, with all your information you have right now. So forgive me for my questions. I would like to start with food safety of radiation levels with fish and export goods. What is the safety regulation and of the levels of radiation, and how has it changed since the disaster?
Well, you see, the problem of the food safety regulation In Japan, the safety regulation is 100 becquerel per kilo, which is much lower. They have lower the safety level to 100 becquerel per kilo, which is much lower than in the US or in Europe.
Okay.
In US, I think it's 1,000 plus becquerel per kilo.
Wow.
And in Europe too. The problem is not the safety level. Okay. The problem is what you call the weak dose, the low dose. You know.
Yeah.
They are trying to say or to make people believe that low dose in a contaminated food are okay. They aren't okay, you know. Even if you have some food which is below the 100 becquerel per kilo, if you are like 50 becquerel per kilo or 20 becquerel per kilo,
yeah.
If you are eating this food daily, of course it will have a very high risk to your health.
Yes.
So if you have some contamination in some food, depending on the radioisotope, it can have very different action. You know, it can be it can in due time it could give you a cancer. It can give you a lot of cardiovascular problem. You know.
Right. Yes.
But there are many. It can give you leukemia, of course.
Yeah.
Many things, but the risk is there, you know, you cannot dilute contamination, you know. It's nanoparticles which are inside the material, the food, not on the surface. Okay?
Right.
If you ingest that, any nanoparticle radioactive that you ingest is 100 times, 200 times more powerful than radiation which is external. Wow. So internal contamination is much more dangerous than external radiation. Yeah. That has to be understood. So to have a nanoparticle of radioactive nanoparticle in any food is just like a bullet, you know.
Yes.
Once it gets into your body, it will create damage. Okay. Now, if you have radiation which is contaminating the environment, it does not get diluted like oil in water.
Right.
Just gets scattered.
Oh gosh.
But the bullets are still there.
Yes. So
anybody who will ingest some of the food with one of those bullets from the Pacific Ocean, etc., it's dangerous for the health, of course. But come back to Japan with the 100 becquerel threshold as the safety dose. It's an illusion, okay? Yeah. Because it's okay, maybe you can take the chance to eat some vegetable, which is 20, 30 becquerel per kilo once in a while, if every other day you eat healthy, non-contaminated food.
Yes, but not constant.
But if you eat every day contaminated food, even if it's a low dose contamination, it has dangerous potential on your health, you know.
Exactly.
It's very high risk. So to talk about safety dose of food, you know, it's how to say, it's tricky, you know. It's the trick of the nuclear industry and of the government, you know.
Yes.
To calm the fears of the people, to make them stay on location and accept to live with the radiation and with the danger of contamination.
And we're going to take a little break. Here's our sponsors.
Become part of the UK Ghost Hunters family, whether as part of a team or as an individual. As part of the UK Ghost Hunters family, you or your team will be able to benefit from the team's vast knowledge of the field and potentially be part of the show Paranormal Excursion. To submit your application, please visit www.uk-ghosthunters.com or our UK Ghost Hunters Facebook page.
Join the Outer Limits magazine at the Freedom Centre, Preston Road, Hull on Saturday the 9th of September 2017 when we shall present a conference titled 70 Years of the Modern UFO Era, featuring the very best in British paranormal investigators, researchers and authors. From Hull, Mike Covell will look back at over 70 years of ufology, highlighting some cases going all the way back to 1801. Bridlington's Paul Sinclair with his lecture on the still developing Wilsthorpe Blue Saucer incident. Following our lunch break, Russ Callahan will present a video reappraisal of the last 70 years of ufology. Associate Outer Limits magazine editor Malcolm Robinson presents UFO hotspots from around the world in this new for 2017 presentation. Our headline speaker is Philip Mantle, the former Director of Investigations for Bufora and a former UK representative of MUFON, presenting a review of his almost 40 years of investigations. Don't miss the never-before-seen film of a possible Roswell UFO incident witness, featuring a former US Deputy Sheriff who claims he witnessed bodies at the site. Tickets are only £10 each and available from the Outer Limits magazine website. You can find the link to this on our Outer Limits magazine Facebook page, or simply email theouterlimitsmag@gmail.com to receive the link. All this for only £10 each. What are you waiting for? Don't miss out. Tell your friends too. Come and be informed.
And we're back with our guest, Hervé. Precisely, and this leads me to my next question. What is the current state of the relocation of peoples who have had their homes evacuated because of the disaster and the surrounding areas?
Yeah, you see, there's two kinds of evacuees. The U.S. government had advised their residents in Japan and also the Japanese government to evacuate in an 80-kilometer radius.
Right.
But the Japanese government only evacuated 30-kilometer radius.
Oh, my goodness, right.
Now, radiation does not, radioactive plume, it doesn't stay just in one location, Yeah. It goes with the winds, Right. When there was the explosions, the plume went to the northwest of Fukushima. It went all the way up to 70, 80, 90 kilometers northwest of Fukushima, in Fukushima prefecture, right?
Right.
So a lot of places have been heavily contaminated outside of the 30-kilometer evacuation zone.
Yes.
Also, a radioactive plume, it doesn't spray like a uniform paint, okay?
Yeah.
It will create some hot spot, like a leopard skin, okay?
Right, yeah.
Some place here might be very highly contaminated, and next door to it, much lesser, okay?
Right, okay.
So the plume moved with the wind first northwest, then came back to the east and south toward Tokyo, and then most of it went into the Pacific Ocean, right? 80% of the plume of the first months went into the Pacific Ocean. But still, you have many places which are contaminated, what you can call hot spots. Within Fukushima Prefecture or some of the other 11 prefecture of eastern Japan. Okay.
Yes.
Now, the Japanese government gave the order of evacuation to only within a 30-kilometer radius. Those people evacuated to shelter, public shelter, then temporary housing, and the government was giving them housing support.
Right.
Now, the policy of the government, they stop the housing support to the evacuees just now, this end of March 2017, so as to force the evacuees to go back.
Yeah, they're relocating people, aren't they?
To the evacuation zone, okay? So, and at the same time, they are lifting the evacuation orders from different municipalities, so forcing the people to go back to their contaminated village. Right. Some places are still very contaminated. Right. All that is part of the Japanese government policy to normalize the situation,
Yeah.
For the coming Olympics of 2020, the Japanese government want to pretend that everything is safe, everything is under control, there is no danger, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, right.
But I give you an example. The safety normally international standard, right, is 1 millisievert per year, right, for civilians, and 20 millisievert per year of radiation for the nuclear workers, for people who work in nuclear plants. Okay.
Right.
Now the government has increased the threshold for civilian to 20 millisievert, which means people in Fukushima, it is okay to leave and to take 20 millisievert per year, same as what the nuclear workers are taking in the US or in Europe, It's nonsense, because imagine the children, the women, especially the children, who are much more sensitive to radiation. Yeah. You are pushing them to leave, same as if they would be living inside a nuclear plant. Precisely. It's madness. It's criminal.
It is criminal. And what are the people? What do you know then?
So you have two kinds of evacuees. You have the voluntary evacuees, the one who evacuates within the 30-kilometer radius.
Yes. Yeah.
And there are also what you call you have the legal, legitimate evacuees, yes, the one who evacuates within the 30 kilometers government-decided radius, evacuation zone.
Yes.
And you have the voluntary evacuees, those who were living 40, 50 kilometers, but who evacuated for the safety of their children. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
To other prefecture or other town. So the government is stopping provision for these people,
right,
forcing everybody to go back.
So what are the people? How are the people managing to resist? Are they having to go back or what?
Only so far within the 30-kilometer evacuation zone radius, 30-kilometer radius evacuation zone. Only 10% of the people are going back.
Right. And how are the people managing without going back? How are they managing to look after themselves?
What has been happening, and it's a disaster, because a lot of couples, it's the woman. The woman want to protect the children,
Yeah.
That's their, their duty, their feelings, So mostly it was the woman who evacuated with the children in faraway places to put the children at safe place.
Yes.
And the husband stayed behind, work, and to provide for the wife and the children. Okay.
Oh, God.
But at the same time, they are still paying government tax in 2 different locations.
No.
They are paying government tax to their house in Fukushima Prefecture.
You're kidding.
And government tax to the location where the wife and the children are refugees, you know.
This is disgusting.
Absolutely. And also, it was possible because the government, different prefecture were providing housing support for those refugees, housing or rented apartment.
Okay.
But when even it's problem because once every week or twice a month, the wife and the children would go to Fukushima to visit the husband, or the husband would go to their place to visit them. Yeah. It's problem because the family are separated, living separated since 6 years, you know.
It's disgusting, yeah.
And some family, of course, it broke down into divorce, etc. The husband not accepting the wife. So you have a lot of also divorce and a lot of suicide because of this situation.
Yeah. It's just, it's more than a nuclear disaster. It's more.
It is not only a nuclear disaster, it's also a social disaster.
Yeah.
So many people's life is affected, you know. I mean, not only the health, but the family, the social structure, everything.
Everything. It's just absolutely gut-wrenching. It's very terrible. And this is why I'm pleased to have you here, because we can find out the facts of what you know, because you basically don't follow suit of everybody else, and this is why I wanted to contact you, Hervé. So, Hervé.
I will suggest to you, it is not yet distributed, but you should keep an eye for it. I have some friends. The woman is Japanese from Fukushima, from a village 70 kilometers northwest of the nuclear plant.
Yeah.
Her name is Chiho, and she's a movie maker. She studied filmmaking in Japan, and she came to France in 2010 because she wanted to see different life, different culture, etc.
Yes.
And she met her husband in France, who is also a filmmaker. His name is Lucas Roux. And she was in France when Fukushima happened in 2011, in March 2011. Right. So the first 3 days communication were down. She could not contact her relatives, and of course she was worrying like hell.
Oh yeah.
France. And then after 3 days, she was able to get through to talk with her father. And her father told her in Japanese, "Daijobu," which means it's okay, it's all right, okay?
Right.
And then after that, she heard a lot of "it's all right, it's okay," you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But because she's Japanese, she knows very well the Japanese culture, that people don't speak.
No.
Don't speak up about the problem. They internalize the problem.
Yes, yes.
And also they don't want to talk about sensitive matters because it might create antagonism or different of opinion or hurt the feeling of people.
Yes.
So they will keep those thoughts inside of themselves. They will not talk about it. Okay? Plus, with the government campaign in the media and everything, to rebuild Fukushima, to deny the dangers, etc. People don't talk about it, you know.
They're scared, I guess, as well.
They suffer in silence. They live what you can call a denial, you know.
Yes.
They suffer in silence. So she decided to go to Fukushima and to make a film, a documentary film.
Okay.
And she named that film The Silent Voices.
The Silent Voices. Okay, I'm going to get all these links up.
I will send you the links.
Thank you.
Now, they shot this documentary film 2 years. They worked 2 years on that project.
Wow, okay.
That film is very unique. You know, in 6 years, I've seen a lot of documentaries.
Yeah, but
made by the mainstream medias or by
Yeah.
independent movie makers, etc. This one is different. This one is unique because it's made by a woman from Fukushima. She's able to penetrate the intimacy of the people and to make them talk
Yes.
like nobody else has been able.
Yes.
And through the testimony of the people, you know, making them working on them and making them talk about their life and how they are handling and that,
Yeah.
then you can really visualize what is happening there, how their life is affected, you know.
Yes, and this is what people need. They don't need
Yeah.
any entertainment crap.
Yes, that documentary is very important because it's the only one who really is revealing what the people are living there right now.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
It's a unique testimony. That movie entered few festivals. It just won the Golden Award in a Californian documentary, the best, independent film
Right.
festival in California. They just won the Golden Award, you know.
Well, it needs to go global. It needs to be
Yeah.
on everybody's television. They need to see this.
Because remember, this is what is happening now in Fukushima 6 years later, okay?
Yeah.
But it could happen to us anywhere, you know, with the nuke plant we have in our backyard.
Yes, absolutely. It needs to be.
And people need to see. You see, some of the journalists or some of the bloggers, they sensationalize the technical aspect. You know,
Yeah.
the 15 bolts of the third reactors or this and that.
Yeah.
That is not important. You know.
No.
The important is what the people are suffering, the consequence on the people there right now.
And for the children of the future.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, you had a really good explanation to explain to people. You mentioned about how you wanted to speak about.
Yeah, the reactor and the atomic bomb.
Yes,
Yeah.
because that is a brilliant way of explaining it to people who are unaware of
Yeah,
its dream.
Just a moment, I open up it. Yeah, you see, most of the people don't understand. They visualize an atomic bomb to be more dangerous than a nuclear plant
Yes.
going wrong.
Yeah, fallout.
Well, actually, an atomic bomb is less dangerous than a damaged nuclear reactor.
It puts things in perspective. So go ahead.
So bear with me. I will read you something which I translated from French on my blog.
Please.
While it is undeniable that the fallout to the ground during the few hours following the explosion of an atomic bomb is conducive to cause acute irradiations for a few days, more than the fallout of a damaged reactor. It is equally undeniable that the fallout from damaged reactors causes a considerably higher number of deferred victims for the single reason that it releases a much larger and more toxic mass of lasting fission products than does a single atomic bomb, and also more heavily contaminates a much larger territory. Okay?
Yes.
So what they are saying is a damaged nuclear reactor
Yes.
releases a bigger quantity, a more toxic and larger quantity of radioisotope, of radioactive particle,
Yes.
than a short-term atomic bomb. Okay.
Yes.
So if you calculate the lasting effect, the high quantity of released material, and their lasting effect.
Yeah.
It has much more victims than an atomic bomb.
Yes, precisely.
Now, I will read you further.
Please.
Clearly, Chernobyl scattered at least 24.6 kilograms of cesium-137, while a plutonium device of 24 kiloton disseminate 47.6 grams
Right.
of cesium-137. So you see a small atomic bomb with a plutonium device, it releases very little, okay, compared to what Chernobyl released.
Yes.
Chernobyl dispersed more than 16 kilograms of plutonium-239 into fine particles, while a device with a 10% fission yield dropped only 11 kilos in the environment.
Right.
The bombs only work in excess of their fission output and spoil a lot of the goods,
Right.
which is why they disseminate 50 tons of unconsumed plutonium nanoparticle during all the nuclear tests, okay, in the 50s and the 60s, they disseminated only 50 tons of plutonium, okay?
Yeah.
Whereas Chernobyl in just one time disseminate much more, plenty.
Yes.
To count only the few hundred early victims of the acute irradiation of each one is to demonstrate a satanic malfeasance and an infatuation unparalleled for falsification and death. For it is tantamount to spitting out an abject goal on the countless liquidators who prematurely disappeared, to whom we owe our lives, and to eradicate the millions and millions of anonymous, proven, programmed and calculated victims of this endless nuclear tragedy.
Yeah.
Yet, this is none. An atomic reactor is continuously fissioning and accumulates more lasting fission products every day. A nuclear reactor saves and in fact continuously grows its secular toxic capital. On the other hand, a bomb fission instantaneously, but without ever accumulating anything.
Right.
This is the reason why the fallout from both of them, if they are for the whole made of the same radio elements, are not, however, at all in the same proportions, and therefore do not have the same lasting radiotoxicity.
Yes.
Which, of course, is the most dangerous because it acts over centuries and centuries.
Yeah.
This is an article, this is something which was published this February by the APRI. The APRI is the International Association for the Protection Against Ionizing Rays.
Right.
The purpose of APRI, AIPRI, is to provide scientific disclosure in the field of nuclear physics and the radiological hazard of internal contamination.
Okay. Well,
so this short article, the last paragraph, comparing one to the other, is thus already in itself a somewhat hazardous exercise.
Yes.
Moreover, to take into account only the victims of the acute irradiation of both, to confront the dangerousness, is a criminal scam.
Yes.
Whose ultimate goal is the concealment of the millions of deferred victims of this modern civil and military nuclear tragedy.
Yeah. And it's, I don't know what to say. I just don't.
So actually what they say is the nuclear reactor accumulates much more radio elements. When it fissions over the years, it accumulates. Okay? So when you have a nuclear incident, it releases much more toxic element into the environment than the nuclear bomb.
Yeah, that's precisely. It puts it in more perspective, and I feel like a little ant right now speaking to you, because I don't know what I can do to help at all. So I feel a bit I feel very emotional right now. I'm very sorry, but I do, and it just puts it all into perspective of the hell that's going on right now, and what the people are having to deal with over there is disgusting, and they're not getting much help at all.
One thing which is amazing, watching the movie of the Silent Voices.
Yeah.
I saw the movie twice. I was invited to the premiere of the film.
Okay. Because
part of the budget of that film was collected through crowdfunding.
Okay.
Crowdfund, which I actively participated.
Right.
And so they invited me to the premiere of the film in Paris last November.
Okay.
And I was right away when I saw that movie, I knew before, from the idea of that woman, she's from Fukushima, she will be able to penetrate. I knew it would be good.
Yeah.
But when I saw that movie, I saw it is the movie about Fukushima.
Yeah, it's raw.
Because it is unique.
Yeah.
It explained very well what is the situation, what the people are living. It also shows how the government is lying to the people.
Yeah.
I will give you an example.
Okay.
You have a medical instrument tool which is called a whole body counter.
Yes.
I don't know if you are familiar with that.
Yes, I understand what you mean, a whole body counter. Yeah.
Now, in the movie, the father of the girl, of the movie maker, he was very worried because he's been eating contaminated food, breathing for many years, etc.
Yeah.
So he went in his town to pass a whole body counter exam. Okay?
Right.
And you could see he was anxious to pass the test.
Yeah, I bet.
And after the test, where they told him, well, you have 177 or something.
What?
He was released because he was relieved because it was not so high.
Right.
Okay. Actually, they are fooling the people. Okay. They are fooling using the whole body counter machinery tool.
Yeah.
They are fooling the people because you see, radiation, the whole body counter detect the radioactive particles within your body, okay? Quantify it, and then calculate it in ratio to your body weight.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Then it gives you a number which gives you an idea of the radioactivity within your body.
Yeah,
okay?
the toxicity levels to your body weight.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this level is also not true.
No.
Because it gives you a sense of it's not so high, okay? I'm not that bad, it's not so dangerous, I'm not that contaminated, yeah?
Yeah.
But actually, radiation doesn't work that way.
No.
Because those particles, depending in what place of your body they are located.
Really?
Okay?
Okay.
Their effect can be multiplied by 100, 200, 300. Okay?
Really? Wow. Okay.
Depending if it's inside an organ or
Right.
some gland, you know?
Right. Okay. Like a cancer would progress in
It's
certain
much
areas.
more powerful, you know?
Whoa. No.
So
Okay.
when you calculate the toxicity of those particles within the body compared to your body weight,
Yeah, and your mass. Yeah.
it's
Okay.
your mass. It's fooling the people.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell them the dangers.
No.
Okay, it lower the dangers to the people. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. So it makes
like
them feel better.
people feel relieved, saying, "Oh, it's not so bad."
Yeah.
But actually, this amount of radioactivity within their body, if it's located in some of the organs,
Yeah. Lymph gland or something.
yeah,
It
etc.,
spreads.
it's much dangerous. It's nothing trivial, you know.
No. Right.
So that's the way they are fooling the people into, it's not so dangerous. It's the same thing about the food.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did they not lower the agreed safe level of radioactive levels in food to
Yeah. You
help
see,
sales?
in that movie, one of her cousins or relatives, he operates a cooperative, a vegetable cooperatives. Okay. And he is very nice, you know.
Yeah.
He said the government level is 100 becquerel per kilo.
Right.
Us, for safety reason, we even lower it to 10 becquerel per kilo. So if it's above 10 becquerel per kilo, we don't sell it. Okay.
Right.
It's very decent from him because he's a decent person, you know.
Yes.
Not all the people are the same, you know.
No.
Some people are more money minded, you know.
Yeah.
They will not lower the level. They will go above 100, you know, until 100 and don't care.
No.
But you see, even it's a 10 becquerel per kilo. Sure, it's good, it's better, but it's still contaminated food.
It's still not safe.
It's still not safe.
No.
Because any radiation, any contamination at whatever level is unsafe.
Unsafe. And
especially if you have it every day, you know.
Yeah, like you said before, if you had some at some point, if you're not eating it every day,
That's why what is very important,
yes,
the most important, especially for the children.
Yes.
The most important is the people who are living there with radiation, eating contaminated food. It's important that every 6 months or every 3 months or every year, they would come out of that contaminated environment far away to a safe place to eat non-contaminated food, breathe non-contaminated air, you know, play in the sand or on the ground, you know, with no radioactive particle, you know, so that they can rebuild their body, you know.
Well, imagine
system, you know.
Imagine the children. The children haven't got any new bugs. Their body's not trained to deal with the common flu.
Yeah.
So to deal with all of this.
Yeah. That's why in Europe we have what we call the Chernobyl children. We have many associations in France, Germany, Switzerland, Belgium, Ireland, UK, where we get children from Chernobyl to come to spend 15 days or 1 month to rebuild their health, you know. It exists right now in Okinawa, in southern Japan.
Okay.
But it should be, if people want to help, I think we should organize some NGOs, association, you know, to sponsor children out of the radiation and radioactive environment to rebuild their health, to rebuild their defense, you know.
Yes.
So either association to finance such a trip to Okinawa, or even there's one in Hawaii who was doing it in Hawaii. I don't know if they're still doing it, or in Australia or some other places. It's very important for those children.
Yeah, like a health centre association,
Yeah,
health
exactly.
break for the people that are in it constantly.
Yeah,
it must be done. We must discuss this later, okay? And so we can suggest this on the website, if that's okay.
There is one city mayor he's in Nagano Prefecture. He is the city mayor of Matsumoto City. Okay, his name is Sugano. He is the only city mayor who is a surgeon, a doctor, medical doctor, and he's a surgeon. I think he's a cardiovascular surgeon.
Okay.
A heart surgeon.
Yeah.
And he has traveled many times to Chernobyl to operate children which were born with defects, heart defects due to genetic malformation due to the Chernobyl radiation. Okay.
Right.
So he's very familiar to how the Soviet government has been helping the people on location, evacuation, the children, etc.
Yeah.
And he's the only one in Japan who has organized a shelter house in his city with the city funds, where some children of Fukushima can come to study there and to live there,
He's
like
the only one, though. He's the only one.
He's the only one.
You're kidding.
It's incredible,
It is.
Only one.
Oh, it's just...
It really angers me, because I have lived 10 years in Japan, when I was much younger. I would have expect more solidarity from the other Japanese, from the other prefecture,
Surely can't the way and the belief system and the way that they handle situations has to break
it's the fault of the government, because there has been a massive campaign of disinformation.
Right, so scaremongering if you interfere with our ways, and also with the Olympics, like you were saying, there's going to be money. You dare interfere with our money.
Another thing I wanted to talk, even you don't ask me the question.
Yeah, no, please do.
It's about what we call decontamination. Okay?
Yes.
You see, after it happened in the first year, they lied to the people. They told them, "Don't worry, we're gonna decontaminate.
Yeah, and come back.
Scrap the ground, wash the houses, scrap the ground, etc. And life will come back like before."
Yeah, we're on it. We're handling it, sort of thing.
This is full bullshit.
Yeah.
Because you see, Fukushima Prefecture is 80% forested hills. Forested mountains.
Right.
Okay. Those forests, those mountains have accumulated radioactive particles.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Of course, you cannot decontaminate those mountains and those forests. You would have to cut everything down.
Yeah, and what with the rain?
And what to do with it? Okay, it would be huge.
Yeah.
So they have been decontaminated only the towns and around the town and some of the agricultural fields, okay?
Right.
And even that, they cannot handle it. It produces huge amounts. I heard something like 20 million tons.
Right, okay. Bloody hell.
Anyway, with which the only solution is to incinerate. Right. To incinerate is not a solution, because even if you have multiple filters, some of it will be still released into the air, into the environment.
Well, yeah.
And also the ashes, it reduces the volume, but what remain, the ashes are much higher contaminated.
Yes,
okay?
because it's obviously heated.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's condensed radiation, so
Yeah.
much higher level. Now, also what I want to say is if you decontaminate a place, the wind and the rain will bring back contamination from the forest, from the trees.
Yeah, and go down the mountain.
So with the water reselling or the rain or the wind. So some places have been decontaminated up to 5 times. But contamination slowly but surely comes back in.
Oh, Christ.
Okay. You cannot decontaminate. People who tell you decontaminate, they are just lying to you. You know?
Yes. I mean...
you cannot decontaminate 100% of place. Once it's there, you're stuck with it.
Yes, and recently you posted about the fact that they were digging it up and burying it elsewhere. They were digging.
Yeah, they shift it. They just
shifting it.
Shift the place. They're shifting it. Yeah. There have been some crazy things, you know.
Oh,
the government wants as a project where they would bury it in parks.
Right.
In city parks.
No.
Can you imagine?
No.
What is the meaning to have a park if that park is radioactive and you cannot stroll with it, or the children cannot go play there because underground you got all those contaminated soil buried?
Why don't they just bury it under your blanket in your bed and then you not notice and you just sleep?
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a lot of insanity. But another thing which, watching the movie made by those, by my friends, one detail which I noticed, like the people are afraid that there would be some more explosions, okay?
Right.
Now, those 3 reactors have already either exploded, one has exploded, and the 2 others have melted down, okay?
Yeah.
So there is no danger that it would really explode again. But you have a lot of nuclear fuel which has been stored outside of the reactors in what you call a storage fuel pool.
Yeah.
Okay. And this, depending on earthquake, on whatever natural catastrophe or what, you could have criticity and it could be fissioning and create explosion again.
Right.
But what I was when I watched the movie,
the silent voices.
Yeah, some people were worrying. They feared that there would be some explosion. But what they don't realize, because the government has been hiding that or have been brainwashing them in the media, in the mainstream media, is even it's not exploding, those reactors are still releasing radiation into the sky, into the environment.
Right.
Okay? They have never stopped.
No.
Okay? So not only you have the radiation which has accumulated in the forest, okay, over the years from the initial explosion and after, you have also the radiation which is being exited from those reactors. Daily you have some gassing from the heart of the reactor, which is releasing toxic gas loaded with radioactive particles.
Yes. And also, would you please enlighten us about how it's going back into the sea? I mean, we've spoken about land.
Yeah, the sea. You see, about the sea, you have a lot of you have a lot about the Pacific Ocean, which is published by the media and by some of the YouTubers, and by some of the bloggers. Yeah. It's sure that it's ongoing, okay?
Yeah.
But it is not. You see a lot of sensationalism about it.
Yes,
okay?
exactly.
You see, the Pacific Ocean, there are many factors at play. You have the global warming, you have the acidification of the Pacific Ocean. The food chain is affected because the plankton is dying, okay? And all the food chain up is affected by are going hungry, right?
Yeah.
So you have also all the mining silt, water which go down through the river.
Yes.
It goes into the ocean.
Yeah.
You have also the plastic which goes into, in time it goes in nanoparticles.
Yes, a lot of that.
The Pacific is dying from many reasons.
Right, okay.
It's not only Fukushima.
Yeah.
Fukushima is one of the reasons.
Yeah.
It's not the main one, but it's one of the reasons. It's sure that the contaminated water, not only the contaminated water, the plume, okay, from the explosion and from the reactor. To give you the number, the exact number,
Okay.
by the air, right?
Yeah.
You have just a minute. You have 12 to 15 petabecquerel of cesium-134 and 137,
Okay.
which are released, and then direct through the water, etc. You have 3 to 4 petabecquerel. So all in all, let's say you have between around 20 petabecquerel of cesium,
Right.
which gone into the Pacific Ocean,
Right.
which is bad enough. Okay.
Yeah, of course, but it's not
I
sensationalized.
would say it will surely affect the sea life in the Pacific Ocean, because it bioaccumulates through the food chain.
Yes.
But it's a time, how do you call that? It's a slow motion happening.
Yeah,
okay?
slow process.
Okay, it's a slow process.
Yeah.
When people tell you everything is dying in the Pacific Ocean because of the Fukushima, those are just sensationalists.
Right.
A lot of them are commercial websites who are they are peddling sensationalism to the adrenaline kick-hungry mob.
Yeah.
In exchange for donation, or to make their website
more viewable,
more viewable, and so that they can attract paying advertising.
Yeah,
on their website.
Disgusting.
There's a lot of bullshit, sensational.
Yeah, absolutely. And basically, I'm so pleased that you gave me the time for you to come on here to speak to me, because I didn't want you to think that I was one of them. I really hope.
Still, after having said that, we must not minimize the danger.
No.
Meaning that radiation, those radioactive particles, which either through the air or either through release of contaminated water into the Pacific, they are there, okay?
Yes, of course.
They get scattered in the food chain, and to consume something from the Pacific Ocean, be it seaweed or seafood or fishes, you don't know.
No, you don't.
You're taking risk. There might be some particle in that food, and it's a slow. It's a Russian roulette bullet. Okay?
Yes, I mean, Ove, that's what I was getting at.
I would still advise the people to stay away from any seafood product coming from the Pacific Ocean.
Yes.
But again, I will I tell that because Fukushima, etc. But it's not only the Pacific Ocean. Okay. You see, in Europe, you have two places. One is in UK, in England.
Yeah.
It's called Sellafield.
Right.
And one is in France. It's called La Hague. They are releasing through underwater pipe
Right.
Okay, they are releasing liquid radioactive elements, okay, liquids,
Right.
into the Atlantic Ocean.
What?
Okay,
Right.
they're doing it legally, and they have been doing it for years.
All
Okay,
right. Yeah.
plus all what was dumped before, okay, in drums in the 60s, 70s, and which this
Yeah, buried and stuff.
those drums are rusted and are releasing all those stuff,
Yeah.
So it's not only the Pacific Ocean which is polluted by radioactive Fukushima.
Yeah.
The Atlantic Ocean, if you really look at it, it's not that clean either.
No, exactly. And my point was also that it is healthy to have Fukushima on the TV, the disaster and everything, but the sensationalism of it is getting out of control. And this is why we need to know the real happenings, and also the fact that this video, The Silent Voices, this movie is out, gives people an extra insight into how the reality of it is actually happening.
Yeah. It will show to people what will be their life if it happened in their home, in their backyard.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, how we can help change things.
Yeah.
Get rid of nuclear straight away.
Yeah, we really need to get rid of... You see, nuclear, the problem is civil nuclear is tied up with military nuclear. Okay?
Right.
So we cannot get rid of one without getting rid of the other. We have to get rid of both.
Yeah. You're right. Well, I mean, would you mind terribly if there's any new news that is starting to circulate around the internet and the TV that sounds sensational, shall we say? If there is anything like that, if there is anything like that, may I contact you again to give us a little update on any news?
Yeah, no problem.
I'd thoroughly appreciate that.
Very welcome.
Thank you, Eve. I mean it. Thank you. And thank you for your time today. I know there's so much to talk about, but I've got the hour.
We cannot, so much has been happening in 6 years, and there's so much about it,
Yeah.
Just impossible to tell it all or explain it all in this one. But I recommend keep an eye for when that movie will be available.
Yes, of course.
Because it's really it's very important for many people to see it.
Yeah.
It really deserves the awards that they got.
Oh, of course it would. And also, I will get the links off you later for that.
Yes, I will collect a few links and I will send it to you.
Yes, and it was good to give the audience a basic fact chat about Fukushima.
I also wrote an article about it, a short article.
Okay.
But I am in the process to write a longer article about that movie, because there are some very important testimonies in that movie, which I think should reach as many people as possible.
Well, I will help as much as I can.
Well, I thank you.
Please, please, could you tell people your website and also the name of your Facebook?
Yeah,
and then
I have a community page on Facebook.
Yes.
It's called Fukushima 311 Watchdogs. Mm-hmm. And I have a blog by the same name, Fukushima 300 Watchdog, but the address is Dan Renard, DUNRENARD, WordPress.
Right. Okay.
And I also participate to another blog, which is called Nuclear News. It is an Australian woman who is handling it. Her name is Christina McPherson, and she's the main blogger. And then there's an Irishman, called Sean Arclight, and then I am the third blogger on that blog. Okay. It's certainly a very good blog because it relates many incidents, many things about nuclear all over the world.
Right. Okay.
It's called nuclear-news.com.
Okay. Fantastic. And I will get those links off you in a moment, and I'll upload them to the site as well.
Sure.
So people wanted to get your sites and your group pages and things.
You see, as individual person, we are limited, in how much we can help,
Yeah.
But one essential help that we can do is to circulate the information, to inform the people, to make them aware of the dangers.
Precisely, and less of the sensationalism and more of the reality.
Yes.
Fantastic.
We by sensationalizing things or exaggerating and making up things which will be debunked later, we don't mark points. The only way we can mark points is by stating the real facts, and the facts are bad enough. We don't need to exaggerate them.
No, we don't. No, we do not. And that's 100%. We do not. Okay, Irvine.
I thank you.
Thank you very, very much.
And good continuation.
Yes, please. And
bye, everyone.
But goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you. And I hope to speak to you soon, or some good news with it, maybe. That would be nice.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And that's today's show. If you want to listen to any previous shows, you can on ahk42.com, and that's a Hitchhiker's Guide to 42 as well on Facebook, a Hitchhiker's Guide to 42 on YouTube. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. And I'd like to say a few thank yous. Thank you to Nick Turner with his song Eternity, and also I'd like to thank Terry Rauch and also Jim Choma, Beanie Bypass for his intro music, thank you, and that's on Twitter, Beanie Bypass. Also I'd like to thank UK Ghost Hunters and UFO Glenn. And also I would like to thank everyone for listening, and I hope you have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you soon.